Hello, everybody. It's Ed Rosenberg, and today I'm with Igor from Shopping Cart Elite. Igor, how you doing?
Hey Ed, how are you?
Okay, I'm great. Now, Igor runs this Shopping Cart Elite multi-channel solution, which we've seen many of. But Igor, I was speaking to him the past few minutes and yesterday, and he has a very interesting twist to how a seller can actually implement it. So, Igor, you want to give us the rundown, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Just to introduce what our company does as a whole, we're a full e-commerce solution. So clients will come to us and they may want a full website. They want that website to be beautiful, mobile friendly, but they also want to work with marketplaces, with eBay and Amazon. They want to have synchronized inventory. They want to have a customer service ticketing system. They want to have a centralized CRM system, and they want basically all of this to work as one solution in-house. And that's what we bring to the table with our software. In addition, specifically focusing on the marketplaces, eBay and Amazon, we started offering staffing services, which we started calling them webmasters, that know everything about again, specifically with marketplaces, how to load data into our software, how to get all the required fields in for eBay and Amazon and Jet and Rakuten and Sears. And basically, we train them just like we would train the rest of our staff to work for the client and basically have a successful strategy to succeed on the marketplaces. Except we hire those staff in Eastern Europe, so we made the rates where they can compete with the same rates as they would pay India for hiring those individuals. So basically, you could get a full solution for the marketplace management side. If you want to expand on it, such as getting a website or any kind of marketing, you could do that, and then it comes with a webmaster to basically implement this whole thing together.
Right. Now, I know when you're dealing with multi-channel software, the biggest pain point is actually implementing it. So are you saying that this will solve that problem?
Yeah, so and this was actually a pain point for us as well, because what ended up happening is when we rolled out marketplace management and the customers started onboarding and we weren't charging a setup fee, we would just give them instructions. They would basically enter a data a certain way that one marketplace might accept, like eBay, but Amazon will not accept it. And so they would load the data on eBay. It wouldn't be compliant to Amazon, and they would have to go back and redo it. And basically, what ended up happening was they would engage our technical support that they're getting errors submitting data to another marketplace. And when we would come in to see what's wrong, like 99% of the time, it was something related to data on their side. And ultimately, they would give us an ultimatum saying, either fix it or I'm not going to do business with you. And we had to decide, are we going to fix this for free or are we going to lose the client? So instead, what we decided to do is we said, okay, how about we'll just get you someone that most likely has to work for you anyway, because if you're going to continue growing your marketplaces, you probably already have someone working for you, or you're going to end up hiring someone because you can't do everything by yourself. And we'll train these individuals to do pretty much any task related to marketplaces. And there will never be a problem with the data getting entered incorrectly or the required fields are missing. In other words, the clients stopped calling us for any kind of support because they have a webmaster that knows what they're doing, specifically with our software, and they were trained by us.
Now, this guy works for me or works for you? Like, how does it work? He works for you. I'm not paying any employee. I'm paying you as a service, right? And there's no W-9 here. That's what I'm saying, right?
Correct. So we basically take the liability of any work that the staff member does. There is an online dashboard that accounts for every single hour that they work. So you could see, very transparent when they clocked in, what exactly they did. There's a ticket for everything. And you basically pay us, and these individuals will work for you. Now, you do work in most cases directly with the webmaster, and you can talk to him, and he's a real person, so we don't get in the middle of that. But as far as payroll goes, we would be handling the payroll and basically paying them for the hours they work for you.
Right. So basically, walk me through the process. So I have a website. I'm on eBay. I'm on Amazon. I have no multi-channel. Every time I'm updating, I'm going to the individual marketplaces. Walk me through the process. How would I get started?
Okay, so basically the way it would work is like this. You would, let's say, sign up with Shopping Cart Elite, and you would sign up for the marketplace management side. The next step is, well, sometimes if you're just starting out from scratch and you like have nothing, the webmaster will have a process of what they need to do, like ask you questions about the data, add some data, add samples, and so on. If you have a more let's say sophisticated operation where you already have multiple Amazon accounts and you need to sync it to the existing accounts, then we get involved to plan it out with you, put it on paper, and then pass it over to a webmaster who also has a project leader to overlook to make sure that that plan is executed properly. So in the case where you're brand new, the process is we understand what your data looks like or where we're going to get the data. We do offer scraping services to go to the manufacturer and grab it, or go to a competitor and grab it, or mix and match, take some data from the manufacturer and some from a competitor and put it all together. We can grab it from an Amazon store. So basically there's a multiple different ways of getting the data into our platform. All of the training that we do, we basically train the webmaster of all the possible ways they can get the data in. So there will never be a situation where you're going to say, I want to sell this brand, and they won't know how to get it in. They will definitely know how. They will then add samples so that you could, and then show it to you so you could see what it looks like. If you want to do eBay, they could make a custom eBay template. They'll ask you for your credentials for the accounts, plug them into the system, connect all the required fields for eBay and Amazon and Sears. So the data will have all the fields compliant to those marketplaces. If you have inventory, either in QuickBooks or like, let's say, FTP from a dropship supplier, they can connect that, configure your email accounts, and basically they can also configure your customer service ticketing system. So all the communication from eBay, from Amazon can land in our system, so you can communicate from one place instead of multiple places. And that could also come with like autoresponders, and if you want to do reminders and so on. And the final thing is like if you're using ShipStation, we do work with them. We have a two-way communication with them, so they can connect that.
Okay, go ahead. Now this guy is going to be a technical guy. If he needs to run a script, he can do it, or just a data entry guy who knows the software.
So the way we do the training, it goes like this. They first get data entry training, like manual training. Then those that know Excel and can migrate data, we move them to marketplace training so they can understand how to take the data and merge it with the required fields for the marketplaces. After they graduate the marketplace training, we move them to our Tech 1, which basically covers the basics of the software, how to configure the shipping, and ultimately have them understand how to do everything related to e-commerce and technical support. If they graduate that training, we then decide where we move them. Sometimes we move them to a Tech 2 training, which goes even more deeper on the technical side. Sometimes we teach them other processes, for example, how to use an Amazon repricer that we have built in Shopping Cart Elite. So we train them on processes which ultimately we will need them to do, and most likely under the staffing program. So in other words, when we have a client come in and we understand that he does marketplaces and he does Amazon and so on, we'll take someone who graduated data, knows Excel, speaks fluent in English, knows marketplaces, knows Tech 1 training, past Tech 1 training, and then we will train them on the specifics that they need to know for this particular client, including trying to make sure they understand the client's industry, who the clients are, and so on. And then we will give this individual to the client to start working for them.
What if he one day doesn't show up, he quit, then will you plug in somebody else? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so basically anything that that worker does, we require him to document absolutely everything that's outside of his training for that particular client. So in other words, if he learns about your business, he will have to make a document explaining to us what he learned about your business. If he was the one, if he, let's say, knows Amazon repricing and he doesn't show up, we usually have somebody always available that can take over for a day, for example. But let's say if he quits, and usually they have to quit with a notice, otherwise they do get a delayed payroll by 1 week or 2 weeks, depending on the worker, and they lose that week. So they usually have to give a notice if they don't want to lose that week. But again, God forbid something happens to them and they do disappear, we do have somebody who can take over immediately. And again, the training for the repricer, for example, is an hour or two. So we can always show somebody who knows the same type of training quickly, give them the training for the repricer, have them understand what this business is about, and yeah, you'll have a day of disruption, but ultimately it'll recover itself in 24 hours.
Right. Okay, that sounds all good. Let's talk a little bit about what the actual software does. You said it integrates to .Canada, UK, all the Amazon. What Amazons does it integrate with?
Yeah, and just to, I wanted to mention one other thing before we jump into the software. I covered what they will do before the client goes live with the marketplaces. And a lot of times I get a question, okay, well, they set, this is pretty much like them setting up my marketplace side of the software, but what am I going to have them do after we're live? So the answer to that question is they can add new products, update existing products. They can strategize, like I said, to manage the repricer for Amazon. They can optimize titles and keywords for better marketplace ranking, descriptions, specs, images, better images for products. They can also be put on customer service to do emails or phone calls or live chat. We actually started doing a training program where they can help you source products from overseas. So there was a process that I had at my old company where I would look at the customs records for my competitors, where they get their imported products from, and their job is to basically go and do the research to see if they can find the source and ultimately present it. And we also have them do like gathering frequently asked questions and then putting those answers into the product description. So there's basically enough work for them to do after they're live. And for someone who experienced it, they will understand that they probably shouldn't be doing it all themselves. They should get help, and somebody who already comes with training will make sense, especially at the rates that we charge, which would be like the Indian rate card, pretty much.
How long does it take typically to get onboarded, or you can't answer that question? It's too vague.
It depends on the SKUs and depends if you have the data or we need to get the data. Like if you give us, for example, if you already sell on Amazon and you use the Amazon template to get an Amazon, they can onboard you the same day and pretty much take you live the same day because you already have all the data. If you're going to come to us with no data, like literally no data. I mean, some clients come to us and say, "Hey, I want to sell this product. Okay, do you have anything?" They don't, they just got a vendor account. That's it. So then it could take some time, again, depending, how easily we can get the data. But typically, for marketplaces, if you have a webmaster, it wouldn't take more than a month, unless you have more than 10,000 SKUs, up to like 50,000 SKUs. Then it gets a bit complicated just because it's a lot of data, it's a lot of syncing back and forth, errors coming in, you have to go fix them. So that could take more than a month. But on something like under, 5,000 SKUs, I'd say a month would be more than enough, assuming that the data is available somewhere.
Right. And now, are you saying that once I have this guy who's doing the onboarding, or girl doing the onboarding for me, I have to keep him? Like, can I just use him just, to get on board and then?
Yeah, we actually what we started doing is if you really don't need him, because some people really just don't need them because they have like 100 SKUs, after 3 months, you could. So there's two options. You could either stop the staffing altogether, and then the software price goes up by $100 per month, or you could cut the staffing by 50% because maybe you don't need them for as many hours. But again, we're talking about that our minimum required for staffing is equals to about 75 hours of labor, which is about like 18 hours a week or so. And if you don't have 18 hours of work for this individual, I think you're doing something wrong with your marketplace strategy, because typically it's like usually at least a one full-time person that has to be in the marketplace like department doing all kinds of things full-time. Repricing alone is like a full-time job, but so basically, if you don't have work for them, we can find you work for them. But if you are going to say, you know what, I just don't need them at all, and I have no questions, everything is working perfect, just let me be with my own staff, for example, that's fine. You could either remove them completely, and then the software will just be a little bit more expensive, or you can cut their hours they have.
But there's no percentages of sales, none of that. Just a few $100 or however.
Yeah, we don't charge a transaction fee, so it's just a flat fee.
Okay, so that's pretty good. So let's get into what the software actually does. Can I list in all the different Amazons? Meaning, if I list it once in Shopping Cart Elite, and can I list it in all the different Amazons, or does it just sync the inventory?
Yeah, I'll explain. So to answer the question, you could load your data once, and then the only other fields you'll need to enter to go to other marketplaces would be just the required fields that are missing from the initial load on Amazon, such as an eBay category will be different from what you entered with Amazon. The one thing I wanted to mention is when we built the marketplaces, we actually built it after we finished our e-commerce solution. Most other companies, Channel Advisor, I mean, there's quite a few of them out there today. They built their databases where they were focusing on a specific marketplaces. So like Channel Advisor, they would do eBay first, then eBay came out with international, they would do those, and then they would do Amazon. So the way their database works, it's like a separate database for each marketplace. So you're really maintaining a separate spreadsheet for each one. And through some complicated wizards, you can map fields. In our case, it's a bit different. We have a single spreadsheet. So all the data for your general data, as well as every single marketplace, is all in one spreadsheet, which means that we do give you the ability to override a marketplace field. So for example, if we have, if your general field for weight is 10 pounds, it will automatically default to 10 pounds on every other marketplace weight field. You could go and override it if you wanted to, but you don't have to even add that field and it'll still work. The reason why we do that is because some people want to change their titles and they don't want to use their general titles for eBay. Some people want to change pricing around. So again, we let you override the defaults, but our defaults are already standards, which means the general fields that everybody has the same ones, like dimensions and weight and description, it's all cross-mapped automatically throughout all the marketplaces.
Mm-hmm. And it works with Jet. You want to list me the marketplaces you said you integrate with?
Yes, we do Amazon US, we do all the Amazon International. For Amazon FBA, we do not only inventory sync, but we also get the orders from Amazon FBA right into Shopping Cart Elite, which also allows you to bring it into your accounting system. It could be QuickBooks, or it could be something more enterprise. We're a reseller for ERP called Acumatica. We also do eBay Motors, all the eBay Internationals. We do Rakuten, Sears, Newegg Business. We do Overstock. Jet is one of them. And we're about to roll out Etsy soon. And we're about to, let's just say we already have it. We have EDI connections to pretty much every big chain store. Well, everybody has EDIs. And so, for example, Amazon Vendor Central, or I don't know, QVC or Sephora, whatever company you work with, they most likely have an EDI, and we can bring the orders through EDI into Shopping Cart Elite, send out an invoice through Shopping Cart Elite, update the tracking number, inventory, and so on. So this is really, a portal for all your orders.
And interesting, you said that all the messages come in at one place too. So I wouldn't need a separate tool for that.
Yeah, and not only that, but we actually worked with a pretty big marketplace seller. He was like on every single Amazon, both US and international, and he had eBay, and he submitted a lot of requirements for the customer service ticketing system. For example, he wanted, uh, when the ticket comes in, he wanted me to automatically find the order that the ticket that it's because when Amazon sends a message, they always have like their ID number in the title. So what we do is we parse out that ID, compare it with an order that landed from Amazon, and automatically attach it to the ticket, so you exactly know what this order is about. You can see the shipment, if it's shipped out, or he wants to return it. We have canned messages there, so he had like over 70 canned messages. He was working with ShipStation, and one of the things he wanted to do is he heavily relied on ShipStation's tags, and our software actually syncs ShipStation back and forth, including the tags. And one of the tags that he wanted to do is like if the customer is international, he wanted to automatically send an email to the customer warning them that there will be duty fees, because apparently they would order not knowing that the duty fees will come in, and they would go and refuse it, and they would just get the shipment back. So one of the things that he did was he put a delay on the fulfillment of all international orders. And when they come in internationally, he had our email market. So before the email marketing, our CRM system can have many custom fields, both for a customer and an order. So what happened was we said, when a customer has an international address, like anything outside of US, in the CRM system, then the email marketing segment should pick up all of those individuals, especially if they come from Amazon, and send them an email warning them that there will be duty fees, and wait 5 days before you ship out the item. So he increased the processing time on Amazon to give him that room to process the order, and basically he automated that whole process to notify his customers. And you can really do like, I mean, I have, me personally, in Shopping Cart Elite, I used to have, I don't know, probably 7 people doing follow-ups related to our opportunities. And when we rolled out our email marketing system with our segments, I only left 1 person on that duty, because the email marketing system is sophisticated enough to really segment a specific group of people that you really need, and then send out like a multiple drip campaign messages to them with whatever you need to communicate.
So so basically this is besides multi-channel listing, inventory management, it's a repricer, it's a CRM messaging, right? All the messaging comes together.
Right. So as I mentioned in the beginning, that we have like a full e-commerce solution that starts from the website and ends with your accounting system and everything in between. We spoke about the marketplaces today, but it does have CRM, it does have email marketing, it has, for fulfillment, we can connect to either QuickBooks, any version of it, or if somebody needs like something more enterprise, we have the Acumatica ERP system, which basically includes warehousing and barcode scanning and like multi-warehousing and multi-branch accounting, if that's what somebody needs. So basically, we have clients ranging from who's doing, I don't know, 200 to 500,000 annual sales. We have clients who do north of 10 million in annual online sales, and they all could get accommodated with our system, basically.
Right, and they all have, and the way you structure the pricing now is it's basically a very, very low cost for the software, and we're using your staffing.
Right, so specifically for the marketplaces as well as our startup packages, what we decided to do is, so again, let's talk about marketplaces. There's a lot of companies popping up and they continue innovating, so they eventually marketplaces is going to become like a commodity software, just like some of the startup shopping carts. And instead of waiting until that happens, we figured let's just make it a commodity now and start offering the staffing, because we did figure out how to generate a profit from it, but also make it successful for the clients. And considering that we knew that the clients will start comparing us with hiring staff overseas in India or Philippines, we aligned our pricing where we can compete with those staff, but still keep operations domestically and management domestically and planning domestically, but still leveraging the labor overseas. And again, the guys we hire, they all have to pass an IQ test. Over, we only hire over 100. There's a Myers-Briggs test. There's probably 6 or 7 tests that they have to pass before we even consider them to work for us.
So I can't work for you, in other words.
Well, I'm sure you'll pass all the tests.
And they're all located in one location, or they're all remote?
So they are remote. In US, there's 20 of us. In the Eastern Europe, we have 110 staff at the moment, but it's growing because we started hiring again, and I think we basically hire about 15 people a week at the moment. So by the time they finish training, I'm not sure how many we're going to end up at the end of the quarter, but there will be enough. As far as the recruitment office in Eastern Europe, they do have an office there, but they basically hire people wherever. So most of the people do work from their home in the Eastern Europe. However, when we were scaling our own company about 2 years ago, once we got to 20 remote staff, we had like a nightmare managing them. Like at one point, I actually said that I have no idea what anybody is doing because I kind of know what they're supposed to be doing, but I really have no idea what they're doing. And then when and we're talking about 20 staff from India, so that was even worse because you sometimes you think you know what they're doing, but then they do something opposite. So what we did was we developed a software. It's a mix between like Odesk, now known as Upwork, Time Doctor. There's a few softwares that we combined, but ultimately what we wanted to make was a software that can monitor mouse clicks, mouse movement, keyboard clicks, and applications somebody is running, as well as their computer usage, to try to understand what these individuals are doing and ultimately make sure they're not spending their time on Facebook or playing solitary or something like that.
All right.
You have no idea. When we deployed this thing, you have no idea what we saw. I'm talking about like things from watching things you shouldn't be watching at work to having like webcam sessions X-rated with your girlfriend to watching movies on the clock. It was ridiculous.
Right, I got that. And maybe I'll incorporate that software for my company too.
No, but what's funny about that software is we actually made it sophisticated enough where it actually handles our payroll for all the remote staff right now. And not only that, it starts measuring individuals against each other. So because we put people in a department, we can see who has more mouse and clicks and keyboard and mouse clicks compared to their peers. And when you look at the type of work they do produce more based on how active they are on the computer. So we can kind of pick people that are really good before we know if they're good or not, just by them working for a week and then comparing them to the peers.
Wow. Okay, that sounds good. Okay, is there anything else you'd like to add? I mean, this sounds pretty revolutionary, actually, and I think this could be. Anything else you'd like to add before we go?
Yeah, so I wanted for anybody who's going to be watching the video, you could go to Shopping Cart Elite and give the software a try. We don't have any setup fees. There's really no commitments. And you could do a free trial to basically see what the demo looks like. We actually do a complimentary demo where we can load a few products, actually submit it to marketplaces to show you that it works, because a lot of people say, well, how do I know it works? And sync inventory. Pretty much we can do a proof of concept at no charge, at no commitment. And specifically for marketplace with staffing, it is month to month with no contract, no commitment. So you could do a month and see what it's all about. And the reason why we did this is because we know it works. We have a very high retention rate. In fact, I actually did not have a single, since when we started rolling this out in January, and I did not have a single client who has laid off their staff member, like their webmaster, up to today, which is 5 months later. So I'm extremely confident that this is going to work for anybody who joins us, and I welcome you to try it.
Right. Okay. Thank you. One last question. I just sort of, can I like switch? Like, let's say I start off with more of a technical person, and then if I'm onboarded and I'm running, and now maybe I don't need somebody, I don't have that many SKUs. Can I switch to someone more of a customer service person?
So actually, uh, if you look at our staffing rate card, you get access to the whole rate card. Now, typically, when you're just coming on board, we train the person to bring you on board. And then we train the person to do the most basic things. But sometimes you're going to say, you know what? I need my eBay template design. Chances are this person is not a designer. So what he's going to do is he's going to task 3 or 4 hours to one of the designers on our staff to do that work for him. So really, he will be your point of contact to do all kinds of things throughout our whole staff. And if you do need to switch him because you feel that he's not good enough for a customer service position, for example, then absolutely, we can just switch to whoever you want. But basically, when we say a webmaster, we try to simplify it so people don't get confused. But really, you have access to the full team. I'm talking about developers and who can scrape data to integrators who can build integrations. So you could check out our rate card, which the fees start for manual data entry at 6 an hour, but they average at 8 an hour for most of the other work. And you could check out the rate card, and you basically, so whatever you pay for staffing, it's like a retainer. So we put a retainer in the system, and then as the staff works, they clock against it. So if you have work for an $8 an hour guy, then that's the work that he does. We do have an online dashboard that you get a login with, and you can actually see what exactly he worked on. There's a ticket for everything. All of that gets basically audited when we do the payroll for these individuals, so they don't end up scheming us or you. When we do close the ticket, you do have 30 days to dispute it if you don't agree with anything. Let's say he overclocked you, or some data is wrong there, or he should have done something, so you could dispute it. So it's 100% transparent. Every dollar that you pay us will be accounted for on the online dashboard.
Well, I mean, technically, I can have them do things unrelated to the software.
Yeah, I actually have a few customers who ended up hiring staff that don't even use Shopping Cart Elite, and they just literally, that one of them does social media customer service that he personally trained him. I have another guy that does research for him that completely outside of Shopping Cart Elite. So you could really, we are selling the staff with the software, but if you don't need the software, you don't have to use it, or you don't even have to buy it theoretically. You can just buy the staff, and that's it.
No, but I'm saying if somebody is worried that he's not going to have anything to do for the person who he hired once he's on board, everybody needs work. So you can use them. You could use them half for Shopping Cart Elite and half a day for anything, Facebook, anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So usually when clients say what are they gonna do, I tell them that I will guarantee you I will find them work that will bring you a return on your investment for them. But yes, if you don't want to do that work and you don't know, they don't have work to do on Shopping Cart Elite, you can task them to do whatever else you need done in your business.
Right. Okay, Igor, so thank you very much, and I understand you're giving us a really good deal to get on board. I'm going to put the details below the link, so they'll be able to click right to it, and we'll definitely be in touch. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Ed.
Goodbye.